All right, let's talk about Azure governance. We're going to transform this, sometimes chaotic topic into a clear blueprint, one that'll help you build a cloud that's secure, compliant, and actually cost-efficient right from the start. Okay, let's dive in.
So let me ask you, does this feel familiar? Your Azure environment is just sprawling, costs are climbing up, and you have no idea why? And the thought of a security audit? Yeah, that keeps you up at night. We call this the cloud wilderness. But don't you worry, there is a map to get through it, and we are about to show you the way.
So, here's our game plan. We'll start with the foundation, the Azure Governance Blueprint. Then we'll get into organizing your resources, putting up some protective guardrails, and making rules that enforce themselves. And finally, we'll see how all of this comes together so you can get a real handle on your cloud spending.
Every great city starts with a master plan, and your cloud is no different. The secret to taming all that chaos is a really clear top-down structure. This is the blueprint that's going to guide every single decision we make from this point on.
Right at the very top of our city plan, we've got management groups. Think of this as where you set the citywide laws. Any policy you put here, say a universal security rule, it gets automatically enforced across every single department, every subscription. It's governance on the grandest scale.
So just below those management groups, you have subscriptions. In our city analogy, these are like the different neighborhoods. They give you a really nice, clean separation for your different environments, like production, development, and testing. And just like neighborhoods have their own budgets, each subscription has its own separate bill, which makes tracking costs incredibly easy.
And then, inside each subscription, we have resource groups. These are the individual houses in our neighborhoods. A single resource group holds all the pieces for one application: the servers, the storage, the databases, the whole shebang. This makes managing the entire lifecycle of an app as one single unit a total breeze.
And here's where the magic really happens. Inheritance. Any rule you set at a higher level just automatically flows downhill. A policy at the top, at the management group level, is enforced on every single subscription, resource group, and resource underneath it. This is how you get consistent governance at scale without having to micromanage absolutely everything. It's a game changer.
Okay, so our structure is in place. Now it's time to get organized. And the first step is super simple but incredibly powerful: tagging. Seriously, proper tagging is the absolute key to visibility, to management, and maybe most important of all, to accurate cost allocation.
So resource tags, they're basically just labels you stick on everything. They're simple key value pairs like cost center finance that help you organize and track all your assets. But, and listen up, because this trips up so many people, tags are not inherited. If you tag a resource group, the resources inside it do not automatically get that tag. You have to use Azure Policy to make that happen. And we'll get to that in just a minute.
Come on, we've all had that heart-stopping oops moment. Well, resource locks are a really simple but super effective way to prevent them. They act as a safety net for your most critical resources, protecting them from being accidentally deleted or changed.
You've got two main types of locks to pick from. A cannot delete lock is probably going to be your go-to for most things. It lets you keep working with a resource, but it stops anyone from accidentally hitting that delete button. The read-only lock, though, that's more extreme. It basically freezes the resource completely, no changes whatsoever. This is for your crown jewels, the stuff that absolutely must not be touched.
Now, this is a super important distinction, the difference between the control plane and the data plane. Locks work on the control plane. What that means is they protect the resource itself from being deleted or modified, but they don't touch the data plane. That's the data inside the resource. So you can lock a storage account to stop it from being deleted, but your users can still add or remove files inside it. You really have to get this concept for proper security.
So locks are great for preventing those simple accidents, but what about enforcing more complex rules across your entire organization? Well, that's where Azure Policy steps in. Think of it as your automated rulebook for the cloud, making sure every single new resource follows your standards from the second it's created.
Now, don't let this little bit of code scare you. Azure Policy is really just based on a simple if-then logic. For example, you could have a policy that says, if someone tries to create a resource outside of our approved regions, then deny the request. See? It's a simple but incredibly powerful way to automate your company's standard.
And deny is just one of the tools you've got. You can also audit, which honestly is a fantastic place to start. It won't block anything, it'll just report on resources that aren't compliant. That gives you a really clear picture of what's going on. You can even use policies to automatically fix things, like adding a tag that's missing or deploying a monitoring agent for you. So, as you get more into governance, you might end up with dozens of policies. And trust me, managing them one by one can become a real headache. That's where initiatives come in. An initiative is just a collection of policies that you can assign all at once, as a single unit. This makes it so easy to apply big, comprehensive standards, like security benchmarks, with just one click.
Okay, we've laid the foundation, we've organized our resources, we've automated the rules. Now, let's talk about the big one for so many of us, mastering your cloud costs. And guess what? All the governance work we just did is essential for good financial management.
First up, budgets. This isn't just a number you put in a spreadsheet. No, this is an active monitoring system. You can set up alerts to ping you when you hit certain spending thresholds, like 50% or 90% of your budget. That means no more shocking bills at the end of the month. You'll know when you're getting close, so you have time to actually do something about it.
Next up, cost analysis. This is your command center for dissecting your bill and seeing exactly where the money is going. You can slice and dice the data by service, by location, and, thanks to our awesome tagging strategy, by tags. This is how you get those fine-grained insights and finally answer questions like, what's the real cost of running that new marketing campaign?
And last but not least, one of my favorite tools, Azure Advisor. Think of it as a free consultant that's constantly scanning your environment, looking for ways you can optimize. It gives you specific, actionable recommendations, like pointing out oversized virtual machines that are just burning money, and it even tells you exactly how much you could save. It's brilliant. So let's wrap it up. There you have it, the 5 pillars of solid Azure governance. Start with a good structure, tag everything for clarity, lock down your most critical assets, automate your rules with policy, and keep a close eye on your spending. These are the keys to a well-managed, well-behaved cloud.
By following this blueprint, you're not just managing your cloud anymore. You're truly mastering it. You're building a foundation that's secure by design, compliant by default, and cost-effective. The tools, the knowledge, it's all in your hands now. So the only question left is, what will you build with it?